Chris, and welcome to another edition of Auto Glass Digest. We have a great show for you today as Jamie Browning sits down with attorney Mark Joy. Here's Jamie with more detail.
Thanks, Tess. I sit down with attorney Mark Joy, and we discuss the parallels between the landmark Chrysler verdict and the auto glass industry. How trying to save as little as 25 cents per vehicle can not only cost the customer their safety or life, but also leave a technician or business with millions of dollars in lawsuits.
We're here today with Mark Joy of Joy Law Firm. He's going to talk to us a little bit today about the Jimenez versus Chrysler suit.
Thank you, James. I appreciate you letting me come in and
absolutely. Thanks for having us
and speaking with me. I've been practicing here at Joy Law Firm for about 26 years. Joy Law Firm has been here in North Charleston actually before the city of North Charleston even became a city. So we've been here for over 45 years. But talking about the Jimenez versus Chrysler case, that was a landmark case. I do a lot of automobile product liability work, car safety work, and at the time that verdict was rendered, which it was in 1997,
right,
it was the largest automobile product liability verdict in the history of the United States.
And that was $262 million.
That's right. It was $262 million, which really broken down. My client was a 6-year-old boy who was ejected out of the back of a Chrysler minivan. And in the course of the litigation, we had found out that Chrysler had decided and knew that they could have made a safer latch on the back of the minivan, that over 26 people had died the very same way that my client had died.
Right.
And we had proven during the case that there were plenty of crash tests that they had done where they had seen that the slightest impact, and in that particular case of ours, it was a 5-mile-an-hour impact.
Wow, to open the hatch up.
A 5-mile-an-hour impact had caused the lift gate to pop open.
Did you determine that Chrysler made that decision from a cost perspective?
Oh, yeah. And the cost perspective on that case was 25 cents.
And we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Since the very beginning, all we ever wanted to do was make your work easier. So all day, every day, we make tools that do just that.
Do you think retail auto glass shops could be held as liable as, say, some of the major corporations and, if there's an accident or with an injury or fatality?
Yes, if you do have a circumstance where a auto glass installer did not properly install really, I guess you'd be looking at as far as a windshield,
right,
and it delaminates and the windshield comes out, then yes, it wouldn't be a big leap of logic to say, if you did that and the windshield comes out, then expect to be held responsible for whatever injuries that were caused from it. Installing that safety glass in a vehicle is so important for the structural integrity of the vehicle.
Right. That's a huge topic in our industry.
It is. For roof structure, I've handled many cases involving roof crush, where vehicles that roll over, all of a sudden the weight on the car on the bottom, when it gets turned upside down, you've got a lot of weight on the top, and it puts a lot of stress on that roof.
Right.
Well, designers of cars, yes, they've designed it such that the pillars of the car can hold the weight, but they are also taking into consideration that the glass on the car as well is going to help support that, because if that glass goes out and it's not put in properly, then all of a sudden you have a substantial risk that the roof is going to crush. And when the roof crushes on you, then that's when you have death, paralysis, brain injury, or something like that, where the head of an individual then gets put straight down, and that creates the loads on the neck that causes catastrophic.
I hear very frequently when talking to people just in general, especially small business owners, and they always throw the I don't have anything to sue for, so let them sue me, or something like that. How liable can someone be after they're sued, even if they don't have enough money to cover the settlement?
Yeah, and I've heard that too. The thing that you need to understand is if you do cause an injury to somebody, and you have no way of knowing the degree of severity of the injury that you caused to that person, well, then you can expect that probably a lawsuit's going to be brought against you.
Right.
And if a jury comes back and they say, because of you small business actions or an individual person, you've caused these horrific damages to this person, then you get what is known as a judgment that is against you. And if you're a small business person or you're an individual and all of a sudden you've got a judgment against you for a lot of money and you have no insurance or you have not enough insurance, then all of a sudden you're in a situation where that judgment, I'm going to have to take that judgment and I'm going to levy that judgment against the business. And ultimately, the assets of the business can be put up for sale to try to satisfy the judgment. And that judgment stays against you for many years.
Right. Well, it's been great speaking to you.
Absolutely.
I think it's, it gives a really good insight of someone who was actually there and handled the case to be able to speak with you and just, get feedback on that. I mean, I think it's an important thing for our industry because, lawsuits are something that people have to think about and make sure that they take the steps to prevent those. We definitely appreciate you letting us stop by the firm here and speaking to us about this.
Yes, well, thank you for coming on in. I enjoyed talking about it.
You definitely seem passionate about it. You're very knowledgeable.
I'm passionate about my work. I love my job. I mean, there are plenty of folks that don't like their job, don't like their work. I love the job that I do because it is helping people. Car safety and car design is something that I've worked with all of my life. So, and trying to explain to people the ins and outs of lawsuits and what happens. I'd love to be able to educate people more about it. It's not just the evil thing as far as it getting done. So anything I can do to help educate the public about this, I'm happy to do. So I appreciate you stopping by, and we're happy to answer any questions anybody might have at Joy Law Firm and contact myself. So
absolutely, we'll put your contact information up there so people can contact you directly. Well, thank you so much for being on today.
Sure thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here next month.